Welcome back to the Cinnamon Effect. I'm Kimberly Hand, and today I have Rocco Crapis with me. He is the host of his podcast, which is called It's Dad Time, and he's the owner of Alchemy Chiropractic. Welcome, Rocco.
Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm excited about this.
Thanks for being here. And I'd like to announce you as the first man I've had on the Cinnamon Effect.
Oh, man, you're losing your virginity.
Some male energy here in the show.
I like it. That's awesome. That's awesome. You know, when I first started my podcast, I wasn't going to have women on. I was like, it's dad time, all dads. That's all we're doing. And my life coach is a woman who helped me through the most traumatic time in my life of where I was at absolute rock bottom. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work. Yeah. Because she's got to come on.
Yeah. You got to talk to her.
Yeah. Like she's got to be one of the first people on. So I'm like, can't do that, you know? And so now it's interesting. I'd say probably 50-50 because I keep meeting like these awesome women that are doing cool stuff. And it's just like, it just seems to flow. And I just want to have interesting people on. But that was a thing at first for me. I was like, I'm going to do no women at all.
I didn't really determine, male or female or no men or whatever, but you are the first. So
I like it. That's
congratulations.
Awesome. It's an honor.
Yeah.
I'll print something out and like put it in my office. You know what I thought would be super cool to do? Like to just throw people off is like go buy a whole bunch of trophies and put them in my office of like first place elephant riding championship Taiwan or something. Yeah. So that when people came in, they'd be like, what? Oh yeah. I used to ride elephants. Yeah.
Just conversation starter.
Right? Like,
why not?
So, anyways.
I can see you riding an elephant though.
That'd be awesome, right? Everybody's like, this is going to be weird. No more guys on here. Like, you guys are all over the place already.
He's actually like a very manly man too, guys. So.
That's funny.
Okay. So you kind of brought it up. You had this life coach, you hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
You want to tell me about that?
Yeah, for sure. So life was going along. I thought everything was good. I came home one day and my ex-wife basically was like, hey, we're not going to be together anymore. Found someone else and going to go do this thing. And I'm like, what? Right. And rocked my masculinity, rocked my concepts, everything, I'm like throwing up in the toilet and crying at the same time and not knowing what was going on and having flashbacks to my childhood and being like, I think everybody in my life has lied to me. Like all these crazy things when trust and truth and honesty are like some of the huge things in my life, where it's just like, hey, just be honest, or whatever, just, and I tell Sloan that all the time. I'm like, baby girl, tell me the truth and then we will work through it. But if you don't ever lie to me, and she'll tell me things and we'll be at the park and her friend will be like, why'd you tell your dad? She's like, I don't have to lie to my dad. Like, fuck yeah. I'm sorry. Can I swear?
That's okay.
Here?
Sure. Okay.
So you don't have to lie to your dad.
We allow F words.
So, I was at this point in life and I was broke, like in every sense, and I didn't know what to do, and I needed help. And I got referred to this amazing life coach, Heather Hundhausen, heatherhundhausen.com. You should go work with her. And she helped me put the pieces back together in a way that I didn't even know existed. Wow. Completely different person, like pushing boundaries in life and just healing from just shit and just like getting back in touch with like, I'm a bad motherfucker and I can do this, but yeah, it was rock bottom. I mean, I remember at one point I held a gun to my head. Like it was intense, and it was, I don't know how to really else describe it besides like just intense, and I never felt anything and I didn't know what to do. Wow. Yeah.
And you were already a dad at this point?
Yes. Yeah. Sloan was probably 3. Someone was probably 3. Yeah. And so it was like, whoa, it was, and so then I'm not the kind of person that is like, oh, I'll kind of change or I'll kind of do this. It was like, I'm at rock bottom in my life and I want to change now and I'm going to do everything possible to do that. So I went after it full force. I mean, I was putting change together to be able to afford Heather. She's expensive, rightfully so. She's worth every fucking penny. She should be expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was cashing in change at the Coinstar so that I could pay for that appointment that week.
Yeah.
But I knew if I paid for that appointment, more was going to come because I was healing a broken part of me that was going to take me to the next level. Right. And I just kept going. I kept doing the work. If she said to go home and write 100 things, I would write 120 things.
Wow.
You know, and then I would be like, done that day. What's next? And she'd be like, what? And I'm like, did it. What's next? And she'd be like, well, now do this. 2 days later, done. What's next? You know, like you can't substitute doing the work, whatever the work is.
Yeah.
In anything in life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so slowly I started to put it back together. I started to piece it back together. That happened around my birthday, around August 12th. And October, Halloween's one of my favorite holidays.
Okay.
And it was a huge turning point in my life, that Halloween specifically. So still kind of had no money. My buddy's like, bro, you're single. It's South Florida. Like, we have to go out
Halloween's
on Halloween.
a big,
You know? And
holiday.
I'm like, all right, let's do it. I'm starting to feel a little better, you know, but like not really that much. 6 weeks in, but I've been putting in a lot of work. And I told my life coach we're going out, and I'm like, I don't know what to wear. And I'm like, and I'm not spending $70 on a costume because that $70 matters because it's part of money towards your next session, you know?
Your life coach. Yeah.
And she's like, put a towel around your waist and then one in your hair, because my hair is long, right?
Yeah.
Like this makes it look really short. My hair is long. And she was like, and just pretend you got out of the shower. And I was like, you know what? I just don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do it. Right?
Done.
I did it. And it was such a hit. And I got hit on so much that night that it was like a game changer for me in my mindset and my mentality, because here I am, someone who thinks he had it all together and had this life and whatever. And that wasn't what was happening. So then you feel rejected and you don't feel like a man, and you feel all of these things that are just like, I'm a piece of shit, you know? And then all of a sudden you go out and it's like, oh, you are a doctor and you do look good with no shirt on. And then like girls are flirting with you. And I don't care if you're a red-blooded American man, if you go out and girls flirt with you, it feels good.
Yeah. Yeah. Confidence boost.
Confidence boost.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I had been to the gym before, asked a girl if she'd like to go get a cup of coffee. And she was like, I'm sorry, I'm married. She was like, but you have no idea like how good this made me feel. You just simply asking me that in a respectful manner made me feel unbelievable that I'm still like attractive to the opposite sex. So this is kind of like when I told you I'm an open book. Like, I don't think a lot of people will admit that like getting hit on Halloween when you're kind of drunk in almost no clothes as a man was a kind of a turning point in your life. Cause you're like, you know what? And then I got some girls' numbers and we went and got dinner, and it was like, holy cow, like, look at the world that's out here.
Yeah. Life started rolling in a different direction.
Whole different direction.
Well,
So
how long had you been in that relationship? Like,
9 years.
9 years. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. And it got upended in a matter of seconds, you know?
Wow.
So, and it was interesting.
Yeah. Wow. What did you feel like you were really changing about yourself in that period of time?
Wow. That's a great question. And that's a great question that I have never thought about. And I don't know if it was like one specific thing that was changing, or I was just like, no more of how it was. And then I just started, I know where I want my life to go. Like, I know the crowd that I hang out with. I know the crowd that is inviting me into their circle now these days. And I know the things that are happening, and they're all images I've held for such a long time. And I think as I started to shed the dead weight and the shit that wasn't in alignment with that, which is what a lot of, I guess, these tools or tasks did, was just to gain clarity. My life was like, hey, let's go. Yeah. And I think a lot of surrender. I started to just kind of go with things more instead of like trying to bend the universe to my will, which was exhausting.
You were a forcer.
Oh yeah.
I'm a recovering forcer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, my daughter has helped me recover from that more than anything. I talked about that 2 weeks ago on my podcast, like how I used to have to win everything. I used to have to force everything. I used to have to do all of this just, you know what that's like.
Yeah.
And, her purity and her slow down, Dad, and her like, stay in bed because we co-sleep, like stay in bed. Don't get up at 5 a.m. Cuddle.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter's not going to ask me to cuddle every day for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'll stay for 2 more hours.
Do it.
Cuddle, and like,
I know.
So that forced me to have to change. And then seeing this little girl in front of me that I'm like, this isn't the life I want. And I didn't have a bad life with my ex. We had a great life. We had an amazing apartment right on A1A. It was nice. It was awesome. But even at the time, if I look back at that like 9 months to 12 months before we got divorced, I was a shell of who I was. I didn't know what I wanted in life. I was just existing at that point. I was questioning everything, not our relationship. I was questioning what I wanted to do for work, if this was even who I was anymore. Is there something more? Is there another? Like all of these things. And I felt very unstable in terms of that, questioning everything. And so I guess clarity.
Clarity. Yeah.
It's a long way to tell you clarity because I haven't really thought about it because there wasn't like one thing. And I was, I don't want to say running away from pain because I wasn't running away from it. I was doing the work to own the pain. Mm-hmm. And that changed everything because the pain was so much for me for whatever reason. Like I talked to my life coach about it because I thought about going to this man named Dan Pena. If anybody's out there, Dan Pena is a wild individual. So if you go look at his stuff, I apologize to you, but he's known for, you go to a castle, he owns a castle, you go to his seminar and he basically breaks you and rebuilds you back up in business and in life and all these things.
Wow.
And
where's the castle?
Scotland.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like a legit castle.
Legit castle. Okay. Like, yeah. Like I think he calls himself the $1 trillion man. He's wild. He's like, he said, he's saying, one of his sayings is awesome. He's like, business is like being pregnant. Everybody wants to, or success is like being pregnant. Everybody wants to congratulate you on being pregnant and successful, but nobody knows how many times you got fucked before you got pregnant. It's like that's the kind of guy he is, you know? Yeah, yeah. So, but I felt inside, which this seems strange. I felt inside like I told my ex-wife at the time, I was like, I think I need to save up and go see Dan Pena's seminar because I feel like I need broken so that I can rebuild something. Like I don't understand why I feel this way, why I just feel like I'm existing, like whatever this is. And fast forward a few months, the divorce happens and that's what broke me. For whatever reason, that was the thing. And I was talking to my life coach and she was like, you would have wasted a lot of money going to Dan to just break you. Not that he wouldn't have helped create an amazing business and all that other stuff, but simply for the fact to break you. She's like, because the you that came in here wasn't going to let anybody break him. And it had to be her because she was like, and I put her on a pedestal. Like I did all the things you're not supposed to do in a relationship. Right. Like, and it was perfect. Because it's exactly what I needed. Yeah. And that's what is interesting about the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, how did you, because you've said that you now have a really amazing relationship with your ex.
Yeah.
And you co-parent. You have a 6-year-old named Sloan.
Yeah.
So how did you get from that point? I feel like a lot of people that get divorced, they hold on to a lot of baggage and a lot of bitterness. Like, what did you do to look at her and say, because you even said she's an amazing mom.
Yeah.
And like, how did you change that around to be able to look at her and be like, this is the mother of my daughter and we're going to have a good relationship going forward. Like, tell me about that. Cause I feel like that is a superpower.
It is. Heather, that's the short answer.
Heather.
No, but, so I have studied the subconscious mind and how it works and how it orients to the world and how the image becomes made manifest extensively. Like I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours. And I know that how we frame our mind is going to be made manifest in our life. So it's kind of multi-layered, but like, let's talk through it. So one, when the divorce happened, we both love Sloan so much that never were we willing to make her a part of it.
Okay.
She was always the priority.
Mm-hmm.
And I suppose I just happened to be so attached from some of the parenting styles that I have, the attachment parenting to her, that I was willing to almost compartmentalize my ex and parenting Sloan. Right. And so I could keep it together for those times. Then I started to do all that work with Heather. I started to heal myself. I started to become who I know I'm supposed to be. I started to become secure in myself. I started to do all these things, and literally everything changed because I'm just like, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't care how or why you left. It doesn't mean anything. Like I don't hold you as the object of my desire or attention anymore. Like I've worked through it. Like I've grown, I've done things. And in doing all of that, I started to see her in the light of like, you're her mother. You're an amazing mother. And let's just honor that. And that's the relationship we have now. Yeah. And by doing that and framing my mind around that, like if I walked around saying all the time, like she's a shithead, what do you think I'm going to get? I'm going to get an ex-wife who's a shithead. Yeah. But I don't. Yeah. I refuse to do that because I know that that's how fucking powerful the brain is. Yeah. And so for me, it was like, okay. And there were times at first I would complain about things. And then guess what? I observed them all getting worse. And I'm like, weird. So maybe I just change me, the way I view it, the way I look at it, and let's see what happens. Yeah. Everything then changed. Wow. And so I'm like, okay, my job in life is to simply control my mind all the time. And if I'm doing that, business is better. Business is booming. Connections are booming. Friendships are booming. Relationship with my ex is booming. Yeah. But if I slip up in that aspect, and it's the harder route, but the easier route. Absolutely. But the easier route. Yeah. Because I don't have to worry about anything else going on in the world besides what's going on internally with me. Yeah. And then if something comes up, I get to giggle and go, wow, how did I do that? Yeah. In not in an egotistical way, but it's like, I am so big on not being the victim and raising a daughter who's not the victim. You are the creator of everything. You create every aspect of your life and own it, own all of it. So I owned the fact that I literally at the time when I was going through my divorce wrote, I am responsible on my forehand. I'm responsible. It got to this point, not her. She just reacted to simply the environment that we were in. Yeah. No matter what she did, I am still the one that was responsible. Yeah. And when you take that massive ownership of like your shit, everything else in your life starts to change. Yeah. And so then it just started happening. It's not mystical. I like people want things to be more or harder than it is. Yeah. Right? Or what task did you do? No, I just started controlling my thoughts all day, every day. And it wasn't easy. Positive synergy. Yeah. So if all the thoughts are positive, right, in every aspect, right, then more positive things are going to be attracted to you. All the time. Yeah. And it's a big thing for me that in my house, you're not allowed to say the problem is. It's the opportunity is. And it will change every aspect of your life, from business to relationships to whatever. I don't care what it is. You can give me, this is the problem. Sloan, if she says it, I go, Sloan, stop. Yeah. What do we say? She goes, opportunity. I go, find the opportunity. Find the opportunity. I love that. What is the opportunity? Well, the opportunity is I get to learn how to do this better. Yeah. Or the opportunity is I get to do this better. Yeah. So now you're stacking an opportunity and you're changing the brain, and you're stacking getting to do something instead of having or needing to do something. Yeah. You're changing brain chemistry. So we have that. I don't know how familiar you are, your people are with the reticular activating system, or how familiar you are with that. Have you heard of the reticular activating system? I have heard of it, yes. Okay. So what it does for your listeners is it is a part of our brain that I believe us, and don't quote me on this part, but pigeons might be one of the only other things we know of that have it. And it basically makes you goal seeking. So it is the part of the brain that makes pigeons be able to be taken 1,000 miles away and they can fly home. Oh, right. Right. Okay. So that's the part of the brain that's able to do that. Whatever you impress upon the mind, the reticular activating system takes as truth and takes it as that's what you want it to find.
Okay.
And then it will find it and it will bring it to you in abundance at every turn. So if you're thinking about lack and poverty and how the world is terrible and we're at war, it is going to bring it to you at every turn. Everywhere you go, CNN's going to be on. It's going to find it in every corner of the room. You could walk into a room with all these podcast things that we have behind us right now, and you could be focused on the fact that there's a war, and of all of them, your eyes will be drawn to the one that mentions war. Not the ones that, there could be 900 of them on that wall that mention love and peace. But that's not your operating system.
Right.
So when you start to change from you're feeding it. Everything you do, every thought you think, you're feeding it. I say all the time, every thought is like a bullet fired from a gun. It's in the ether now. It can't be taken back.
It can't be taken back. Gosh, yeah.
And when it can't be taken back, you better damn well make sure 51% of those are good.
Yeah.
Right?
What happens if a negative one slips out? Because I do that sometimes. I catch myself because I did have to reprogram.
Yeah.
I've definitely, I wasn't always where I'm at today. So I had to work really hard on reprogramming. So
good.
One slips out and I'm
so one slips out. The beauty of why it's okay that one slips out is because we're not instantaneous manifestors. I don't just put my hand out like this and go, hey, I want $1 million, and it shows up. You have to impregnate the idea for so long to get the brain to change. So it's okay that the negative idea comes up. It's your job to steward the new idea, right? So if you have the negative idea that's incessant, what I like to do is, so a big one for me is just simply the word wealth.
Okay.
Wealth has, for most people, everyone's big on this. This is going to be a great tool for your listeners. Okay. Everybody is really big on saying, I am blank. The book, I Am That, all of these things,
affirmations.
Right? Affirmations. Yeah. Okay. But the way the subconscious mind works is it's broad and logical and practical. And so if it is not broad, logical, and practical that you are whatever you're saying you are, I am a multimillionaire, your subconscious is going to go, hey, you're not a multimillionaire. So you're literally going to never be able to program that reticular activating system because it is holding it farther away from you because it doesn't believe, which is the source of all things, that it's possible.
Okay.
Because you're working at McDonald's. So no, if the subconscious looks logically around at you, it does not say this is a millionaire.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're actually holding things farther away by adding those words. So to bypass that, Dr. Joseph Murphy wrote about this. I use the word wealth. Okay. Most people have no emotional attachment to the word wealth. It's just wealth. Everything is wealth. My relationship with my daughter. If you look up the definition of wealth in the dictionary, like my daughter's relationship together, that's wealth. Me being able to come in here and podcast in a beautiful room, that's wealth, right? It's everywhere. So if you tell yourself wealth instead of I am wealthy, you will start to then impregnate the mind with all these positive things of wealth. And you'll start to then be able to program that reticular activating system, then be able to do that. So you can use it as a pattern interrupt. So as the negative thoughts are coming of lack, like let's say you check your bank account and you're like, man, there's $11 in the bank account. And the anxiety starts to come up and you're like, I don't know what to do. Immediately go into the gratitude of wealth, wealth, wealth. And I would repeat, I still do. I repeat it over and over and over and over again until it becomes the dominant thought, the dominant vibration and the dominant thing. And then I'm walking around with my chest up as bold as it can get with $11 in my bank account. Like I'm the fucking man. Yeah. Now what does that do? What does that create? Now my spiral, my reticular activating system literally is searching for wealth everywhere I go all day long.
I like this. Now you do it with wealth, but can you say, let's say health or love or right? All the things.
So you can say all the things. So when I go to bed, I actually tell myself a lullaby. And so I repeat health, wealth, success over and over again in my head, obviously not out loud. I just say it over and over again until I fade away into sleep. I do it every night. I've done it every night for over a year. And when I went through my divorce, all I used to say was happy. Everything for me was happy because I was so far away from happy.
Right.
I literally would write the word happy on a piece of paper thousands of times because it's a psychomotor neuro effect. I'm lighting up everything in my brain by writing something. That's why writing your goals is important, not typing, writing. So if I just wrote the word happy, guess what? I became happy faster than people that have been divorced for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like we said at the beginning, within 6 weeks, I'm starting to feel good.
Yeah. And that's pretty quick, I would say, right? Fast. Yeah.
Very fast.
Yeah.
But I did all of these things relentlessly. And so this is why the thoughts matter, but it's okay to have the bad thought because the bad thought is giving you access to its counterpoint. So if you think you're broke, that's giving you access to the other polarity and you just have to tap into the other polarity. And so by doing all of this, you are just giving yourself tools. And I'm big on you having the tools. I'm not big on, I need to go find another modality to help me. I believe we're inherently built with all of them. And I want you to have the tools to reprogram that subconscious. And so now if we actually peel back everything I just said, we're working with a new operating system and thinking of everything's an opportunity. We're working at a new operating system on looking for wealth. And we're looking at a new operating system that encompasses all of that in gratitude. You can't be beaten when you do that.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong. And it doesn't happen overnight. You have to slowly program this thing because that's why we make sure it's almost like we were building with a safeguard to the ether and to the subconscious that if I think a negative thought, it doesn't just manifest right in front of me. It gives me the opportunity to flood the ether with more positivity and stay in that vibration and just make sure that's not happening.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
And then when you do this, it's empowering because nothing exists outside of my mind and my thought processes, which is why you can have two people that, let's use this as the polarity. It's amazing. You'd have a crazy Trump supporter and a crazy Biden supporter, and both of them think they're right.
Yeah.
And both of them are right.
Yeah.
In their own mind, you'll never convince the other one that they're not.
Yeah.
Because they have oriented their beliefs and their system around it. They have become so ingrained in this left or right that everywhere they turn, they see left or right. Well, the construction on the road would have been done if Trump was in office.
Right.
Right.
We've all heard all the stuff.
Or the plant would have been planted faster if Biden was in office. Like they'll see it everywhere. When really it has nothing to do with either. It's just simply your belief system around the thing.
Yeah.
And what you're choosing to orient towards.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
So I hope that helps everybody.
I mean, I love that. Well, because I think you just broke it down in a simpler way. Yeah, you don't have to get crazy. No. Think of a couple words of something you're trying to manifest.
Or whatever attaches the emotion for you. Like wealth just made sense to me because if I looked it up in the dictionary, I could apply it. Broad is an important thing. When we're manifesting or we're trying to create something, it has to be broad and logical and cover all bases. So like, my relationships, my family, work, the gym, all of the, like your fitness and health, that's wealth to me. Like if we break down those things. So find the thing that has no emotional attachment to you and use that. So if wealth makes you feel, can't attain that, it's the wrong word for you.
Yeah.
But if love is like my mom, I guarantee you, excuse me, I'm sorry, we'll probably listen to this. Love would be her word.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Love would be her word because she's just a ball. Like that's her thing.
Yeah.
It has and she can find love in everything. You can find love in the money and the relationship and the gym and all these things, right? So you write out all like, it's a different way to do things, but it's simplicity and truth is always simple. So find the word that has no emotional attachment and start to rewire the brain toward that thing.
Yeah.
And then the beauty is, now I can say I am wealthy and I have no ickiness towards it because I've worked through all those old concepts and now I am in the place where I'm like, no, motherfucker, I am wealthy, right? In all these areas of my life. And then when that starts to happen, then it goes, poof.
Yeah.
But you bypass that part because how many people made a vision board and got nothing on it?
Right.
More than have gotten things.
Yeah. Because
they work at McDonald's and they put a Lamborghini on the vision board and the mind cannot link McDonald's to the Lamborghini. That's why. So it doesn't get you there. But if you put a Ford Explorer or a Honda Civic on there, the mind can link Honda Civic with a McDonald's employee and you'll get the Honda Civic. So then that is a whole nother layer. Then maybe we need to start lower or smaller and not go quite as broad.
Right.
Hold the image that I'm going to have the Lamborghini, but I'll take nice steps that make logical sense to get there.
Yeah.
See, all of it intertwines together. There is no like, boom, this is the steadfast way.
Yeah.
But there is I became, I don't want to say obsessed, but I'm like, okay, well, everybody swears on these vision boards, but why do I hear more people not getting what they, but if one person does a vision board and gets what they put on there, then there's some validity to that. And I need to look into it. What did they do?
Be very specific.
I disagree with
on the vision board.
I disagree with being very specific.
Interesting.
Because very specific usually brings up a state of anxiety. Like if I tell you, if I say, what would a good example be? A good example would be like a home.
Yeah.
Okay. Be very specific with a home and put it on your vision board. So you start scrolling through Zillow.
Right.
Okay. Well, I like this one on First Drive.
Yeah.
Okay. And oh my God, but this one has the pool I like.
Yeah.
I don't really like that pool. And so now you're all over the place.
Yeah.
And you can't commit to which one you like. So I would say go broader, more logical. And what is the theme or concept you like? The theme and concept is I like windows and an infinity pool with a view of the ocean. Done.
Right.
Don't go anymore.
Yeah.
That's it. That feels good. Like I get goosebumps just thinking about that feeling.
Yeah.
Right. As opposed to I need to have all the details of what this is going to be. And then just envision yourself in an infinity pool looking at the ocean.
Yeah.
Don't attach to the whatever. And if you want to have a cup of coffee in your vision while you're doing it, cool.
Yeah.
But you don't have to know what brand of coffee it is. Like people get too crazy with it. And then you're screwing up the mind because now you're bringing anxiety into it. Don't do that.
Some people don't have all those details either. No. Like you may think, you want this and you may think you want a certain, type of thing. And then you get there and you're like, oh no, that's not really what I want.
I'll tell you exactly what my vision is. I know what it is. And it's because I love South Florida and I also love the mountains. Grew up on 100 acres. And, my vision is a beautiful mountain home with an amazing back porch and a view. And the vision is me standing on the back porch, drinking my coffee and Sloan waking up and coming outside. And it's an amazing fall view. That's it. Because if I go start looking at mountain homes, I'm going to be all over the fucking place about which one I want. Surrender, have the image that that's what's going to happen. And then just let it fall into place. And I promise you the day you go to buy it, you're going to be like, this is it.
This is it.
And this is it. And you'll know.
You know what feels right.
You'll know what feels right.
So I want to talk about vibration.
Sorry, I can go for a while.
No, I like it. I'm into it for sure. But tell me what you do, like because you're the owner of Alchemy Chiropractic and what you do with the vibration of the spinal cord. I want to talk about vibration, frequency. How can we attract people, situations that are of the same vibration?
Yeah.
And how can we identify? Okay, I got a lot of questions.
Yeah. We may have to do more than one round of this. So let's say, okay, your spinal cord itself, the big rope in essence or garden hose that runs down your back, vibrates at such a specific frequency to who you are. It's a better identifier than your fingerprint. Now, that cord can distort itself, meaning pull tighter or in twist. And that when it pulls, it goes into fight or flight. When it rests, it relaxes like a rubber band, stretch the rubber band, fight or flight, relax. That's how your body's supposed to function. Don't worry. Nothing's wrong with you. Okay. It's supposed to do that. Like before our podcast, your spinal cord stretched a little bit, because it's like, hey, I'm going to do something important. Right. I should be in a heightened awareness state. I should do this. Yeah. Then when we finish, it will calm right back down. It'll be beautiful. So what happens though is we deal with immense amounts of stress in 2024 that our brains were not designed for. Our brains were designed for 50,000 years ago. And now we have AI. It's just not how it functions. Okay. Yeah. So the spine starts to stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch. And it gets to a point where it can't stretch anymore. And then it starts to twist. And when that happens, the body literally takes this skin around that cord and it tightens, calcifies with quotations and locks you into this stress response at some level. Okay. Now the cord that vibrates at your divine frequency, let's say, that connects to 7 trillion cells in your body that all vibrate at their frequency, is being choked. And when it's being choked, it lowers its vibrational frequency. When that happens, 7 trillion cells lower their vibrational frequency.
Gotcha.
It takes a lot of energy to maintain. Now, what I do is I take that tension off the cord, I restore it to its normal thing, allow your body to vibrate at that frequency again. And then what happens is peace and ease sets into the system. The nerves start to communicate correctly. The cells start to vibrate correctly, and the entire being changes. Now, if you have tension on your spinal cord, and if you think of our cord as a big golden light, I like to think of it as a big golden light, shoots all the way up to the ether, God, whatever you want to call that, connects. And that is like our source of life, right? And so when I talk about like, the body heals itself, and I say things like, we have more faith, the average person in society has more faith in a pill than they do the power that made the body. I mean, you had your child, and not once for 9 months did you think, boy, I hope I'm making the right lobe of the lung, or I hope I'm making the big toe. There's an intelligence governing all of that that makes that happen all the time. When the spinal cord is being choked, that intelligence is being choked. That intelligence and that spinal cord vibrating, we know, emit energy, and they emit a frequency, and that frequency will attract like frequency. This is why wealthy people tend to hang out with wealthy people. This is why happy people tend to hang out with happy people. Like, you go around my friends, we're always laughing.
Yeah.
You go around people that are grumpy, they're always around grumpy people.
Yeah.
Because you're literally vibrating at the same frequency. So you and I having a conversation for an hour, there is so much unconscious communication happening right now that it would take half of the world's population their entire lifetime to decipher 1 hour of unconscious communication between two human beings.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's insane.
That's insane. So that's how much we're connected to everything and how it's vibrating and resonating. So when I tell people, look, we can go even farther into how we manifest and how we manage ourselves and manage our energy and manage our state. If we manage our spinal cord's vibrational frequency, we open it up, that golden light gets to shine, that sphere around us goes boom, and it expands all over the place, right? Then we suck awesome things in. I could go to Starbucks. I can watch a barista not smile for 3 to 4 people before me because they're all just give me a fucking coffee, whatever. And then I get up there and she gets a big smile on her face. Yeah. Or he gets a big smile on her face. And then we joke and we laugh. And the second I move away, the next guy, the energies are being read all the time. Yeah. So I can go into an area and it's fine. Like, this is how, You've been places where people speak, or you've been places where somebody's very charismatic and they walk into the room and you can feel them enter the room before they're there. This is how. Yeah. It's emitting from the spinal cord. Wow. And it's like, I'm here, I'm powerful, let's do this. Now, what do you think all this unconscious communication in the universe is going to do? Give them the rewards and the gift of maintaining that frequency. Yeah. And then when that happens, poof, life takes off. So this stacks on top of everything else we talked about. I made sure to get very good care. I made sure to take care of my spinal cord because I'm not going to let all these emotions lock in, because from T1 to T12, the middle part of your back that everybody says hurts, there's more emotional tissue there than your entire brain. Wow. So if top and bottom pull apart and twist, it all goes there. Wow. And I'm not storing all of this shit from my ex-wife and our relationship in my spine. Get it the fuck out now.
Yeah, get it out.
I don't want to deal with it. And when the body unwinds, it just lets shit go. And then when that happens, you're like, wow, I feel good. I don't know why I feel good. I'm not depressed anymore because you don't have tension on your spinal cord. The body doesn't want to be depressed. Yeah. It wants to be at ease, and it wants to be happy, and it wants to float through life. When people see me after, they're like, I feel so euphoric, like I smoked a pound of weed. I'm like, that's how we used to feel. Yeah. That's how we're supposed to feel all the time.
Wow. Like, how do you do it? Like, is it similar to like if we've been to like a regular chiropractor?
No, so I don't do any popping or cracking.
Okay.
So same way I adjust you is the same way I would adjust my daughter since the day she's been born. Okay. I use an instrument. That instrument creates a vibrational frequency. That vibrational frequency, how do I want to word this to where it makes sense? Okay. If you have, I'm going to try and visually make this make sense. If you have, let's say, a little ping pong ball suspended in air with a string, Okay. So you got that ping pong ball here. And then right beside it, you put in on the table, like supported a tuning fork right beside it. They weren't touching.
Okay.
So let's say that tuning fork was, 64 hertz frequency. Then you grab the whole tuning fork set and you dung every single tuning fork and you brought it near that one. Nothing would happen. You hit the 64 hertz frequency one and you get close, that 64 hertz frequency one will start to vibrate and that ping pong ball will start to go dunk, dunk, dunk and bounce. Only with the exact frequency that tuning fork was made with. That's it.
Okay.
So you can't just dump, and that's a low vibrational frequency.
Yeah.
So you can't just dump 528 hertz or whatever it is on top of it and hope the ping pong ball moves. Doesn't work that way. You have to put so when the body is under this massive amounts of tension, it vibrates at 64 hertz frequency in certain areas that the body's storing that in, whatever it is. Okay. Like an onion, there's layers to this and all that stuff. So you have to put exactly 64 hertz frequency in at the right angle, torquing and vector to allow the body to take that energy, distort and break up that 64 hertz energy and reorganize at a higher energetic level. It doesn't work if you put more in.
Yeah.
So it has to be it's gentle, it's precise, it's simple. I don't want to say simple. It looks simple when it's on the table. And when that happens, the body goes, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now, is 528 the goal to kind of get there? Or
that's okay. So the body's been patterned. Like you can pattern the spine in an acoustic wave frequency, and no, that's not the goal.
Okay.
I'll be very honest. I don't know what the goal you would say would be. I know you just don't want it low. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
and because it's so specific to you, who cares? Right. I'm not big on like, if somebody told me that there was a man down the street that hit people in the back of the head with a shoe and their entire life changed on a regular basis, I would go study that man for a year.
Right.
I don't care. I want to know
how it happened.
Right. And then when you have so much of it proven over and over again, and it just becomes the way it is in the office, you're like, this is it. And so I don't like people attaching to, it has to be 528 hertz frequency. Yeah. So there's a lot of places like you'll go and they'll be like, oh, we're going to give you a health score. Well, now all you're doing is chasing a health score.
Right.
That doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Yeah. How do you feel?
This is why I hate these stupid Apple Watches.
Oh,
they drive me nuts.
Yeah.
Okay. Because people put them on and they go, they want to know how they slept. Do you feel good when you wake up? No, you slept like shit.
Yeah. You know, when you don't sleep well and you know when you sleep well.
And so, but then there's other times where someone wakes up and they're like, I feel fucking great. But then they look at their watch and it says, well, you didn't get a good night's sleep. And all of a sudden they don't feel good anymore. Right. Because the watch told you that it thinks you didn't sleep well.
Yes.
Oh my God, stop. Like quit. We don't want to chase these things.
Yeah.
Let's go back more internal. I'm in control. Into the body. I can control my mind. I can control my state. I can do this. Again, you're the victim of the watch.
Yeah.
What happens if the power goes out? You're never going to know how well you sleep. Now, I'm not saying tools aren't good.
Yeah.
They're awesome. It's cool. I'm sure that I know there's a lot of things that are really helpful like that for Olympic athletes that are trying to do things like that need every ounce of edge. But if you're going to allow something to have access to the subconscious to create a belief system that my sleep matters this much, and if I don't sleep, I'm going to have a bad day, that can be dangerous. Yeah. I would rather just go to bed and go, I need more sleep or don't. Does that make sense? Tap into your body, tap into your intuition, your intuitive nature of like, how you're feeling. How you feel. And that's everything. And Neville Goddard wrote a book called The Feeling is the Secret. It's kind of amazing. Everybody should read it. Feeling is the secret. Yeah. You feel good, more good stuff's coming. You feel like shit, more shit's coming. I mean, I'm big on simplicity, right? And so even though what I do is not simple, I have made it simple. Yeah. And I don't do care plans. I don't tell you have to come back. I am big on freedom. I will, if you ask me, I will make a suggestion on what I think is best for your life. Like I have people come to me who, hear voices. I have suicidal people come to me. I have very extreme cases. And some of those people, I'm like, hey, normally I'm going to adjust you. I'm going to see you say, let's come back in a week. Let's see how much we've cleaned up. Cause usually it's a lot of the like 80% or so. And then we make a decision on what's best for you in your life from there. Yeah. But you're hearing voices or you are thinking about killing yourself. I need to see you a little bit more often. We have to break that neurological pattern and we have to do it fast. Right. And so, that's a different story as opposed to the CEO who comes to me with no symptoms and he's like, I'm feeling maxed out. I need more capacity. And then because what I do changes the brain, I can give you that. And so now that's very different. Now that guy might want to come every single week because he's managing 150 employees. And he's like, I feel so good and so clear and I'm communicating better and I can handle more stress because I can adapt at a greater capacity. I don't want to not. Now, I want to come once a week, but the person that's suicidal only needed to come 4 times. Now he doesn't feel suicidal and he's good. Right? Like you don't know what the person needs until the person communicates how they feel. I'm not going to tell you what you need because the truth is that no doctor's going to tell you is they don't fucking know.
Right. Right.
They don't know.
Well, unless they're going to prescribe you like a pill or something.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's the different story.
Yeah, that's the go-to.
That's the go-to. But if I'm going to adjust your spine and it's going to unwind, you may never need to see me again. I've had it happen. Or maybe it's 2 or 3 times. Or maybe you fall in love with how good you feel and you're like, I want to come once a week for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like I have people do that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's amazing too. But we have to talk about how you feel. Come in, clear out the nervous system. Come back a week later. Let's see where are we at? Where are we at? I'm 85% better, but I still got a little bit here. Let's adjust you again. Let's see you next week. Where are we at? 99% better. Awesome. I would recommend us getting to 100%. So come back again if you would like. And they're like, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great.
Beautiful. That's where you're at. That's what you want to do. Right. It's every person's unique. Every person's different. And so then how I came to this.
Yeah. I was going to say, is there something like a health, did you have like a health journey in any way that led you here? Or?
How I came to not giving people care plans or things like that was, I remember what happened. I was practicing and I was going to move from the town I was at. And this patient of mine had a 6-year-old daughter who hadn't gone to the bathroom in a month. And the medical system was failing her. She thought I had left already. Messaged me and was like, hey, I know you left. This is an x-ray of my daughter. This doctor's telling me she needs 60 visits so that we can get her nervous system intact so that we can get her to move her bowels. She hasn't gone to the bathroom in a month. And I'm like, wait, how does he know it's going to take 60 visits? I'm like, wait, I'm not sure this makes sense to me. I'm like, I'm not leaving for 2 more days. I'm like, I'll bring the portable table. Bring her into me. I adjusted and mind you, the daughter was in pain from her skull all the way down. Like everything hurt. I mean, you can imagine if you didn't go to the bathroom in a month.
Yeah.
I adjusted her that day. All of the pain was gone before they left the office. Came back the next day. I adjusted her and she moved her bowels and hasn't had to be adjusted since and has perfect bowel movements.
Wow.
So why am I going to see you 60 times?
Right.
So then I'm like, that model doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
You know, like,
do you think that was emotions probably? Maybe she was holding on to
100%, almost all of its emotions, right? She was, and she was 100% holding on to emotions. And when I adjusted her, we took a ton of the tension off the nervous system. I mean, the vagus nerve runs right out of the brainstem, you know? And so when that gets changed, the emotional system balances and it's in a safe environment. If your spine is being stretched, pulled, torqued, and twisted, right? Your body goes into fight or flight. It thinks it's running away from a lion. Who's going to stop the poop if they're getting chased by a lion? Yeah. Nobody.
Yeah.
You got sleeping issues. Body thinks you're running away from a lion. Doesn't have time to sleep.
Yeah.
I take care of the nervous system. We put it back into rest and digest. Guess what it has time to do? Poop, because it's not running away from a lion.
Wow.
It's again, simplicity.
Yeah. Simplicity.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So I want a couple questions. What are things that people can do on their own at home to kind of work on this vibration? Is there something that we can do? Or obviously seeing you is the best, but
well, thank you. Again, I'm a tool to help get you on the right path to where I believe all of us have the potential to be is needing nothing other than ourselves. Everything we talked about at the beginning in controlling the mind, nothing is better than that. Walking, nothing is better than that. Right. So everything comes back to your state. Everything comes back to your vibration. What are you doing? And does it feel good? Right. And this is an important distinction that people don't make. everybody's like, oh, we live in a culture now where it's like, if it doesn't feel good, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But that's the wrong interpretation of this, because let's just say you have a job and you're like, I don't like my job and I don't feel good about going to work and it sucks. I'm going to quit because that idea feels better than going to work. Mm-hmm. Cool. But let's pause for a second and just take it 2 weeks down the road. Do you have a family that needs to eat? Mm-hmm. Maybe you're going to feel worse 2 weeks from now than you would if you grind it out working in the job. So let's work on changing our vibration around the job and changing our vibration here and allow the job to fade away and a new one to come into the experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This isn't a knee-jerk reaction thing. Mm-hmm. So all the stuff I said before will change your vibration. Reading books that are metaphysical in nature or personal development in nature. And I don't think I agree with reading too many books.
Okay.
You get stagnant and you get stuck. Mm-hmm. Find one that resonates with you for a year and do what it says and just go all in on that. Don't confuse the mind.
Is there one that you recommend that you like? Where could someone start? Maybe give one where someone could start.
So there's a few, I will say that if you're dealing with finances, The Richest Man in Babylon.
Okay.
The Bible of Financial Freedom.
Okay.
Start there.
Love
it's a
that.
story. It's fucking simple.
A lot of people have a lot of financial blocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the one for finances. Read it. Do what it says. Don't pick up another financial book for the rest of the year. Don't worry about investing. Nothing.
Okay.
Figure out those simple 3 things that it tells you to do. Own them. Work on them. Develop them for a year. It will change your life. Don't flood the mind with more stuff.
Okay. I like that.
Then I am a huge fan of the book, The Alchemist.
Okay.
It's a story and it's amazing. You don't need to read it over and over again. It's not going to give you tasks.
It's pretty short.
Do. It's very short. An amazing audiobook. If you're going on like a 3-hour drive or something, pop it in, put it on 1.5 speed. You'll fall in love with the book. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then for terms of life, I think Dr. Joseph Murphy, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, is so unbelievably amazing. And I think it is a great book. And if you actually read a lot of these, I've read a lot of the old metaphysical teachers, Murphy, Neville Goddard, all of these guys. If you read those books, they all tell you the same thing I told you. Pick one or one discipline that resonates with you and go all in on that, or you will confuse the subconscious mind.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And you don't want to do it. And I used to do it. So like when I was in chiropractic school, taking 28 credit hours every 10 weeks, I read 15 books that year. I gained a lot of knowledge. It was awesome. But I didn't implement shit.
Right.
Because it was read the book, read the next one.
Yeah.
Take the time to implement it. Do it for 12 months. And don't worry about being like, oh my God, the CEOs read 52 books a year. Okay, pump the brakes.
Yeah, take your time.
Some of them might, but there's a whole lot that have never even picked up a book.
Yeah.
I've met CEOs that have never read a book. It's not like, but the world ran with that idea.
Yeah.
And maybe they ran with that idea because it sells a lot of things.
Right.
but nonetheless, so those are the things. And then, if there's like another, Brian Tracy talks a lot about the reticular activating system. He's awesome, but I would stick with Joseph Murphy. If energy and the subconscious mind and those things are important to you, I think that because nothing comes before that.
Yeah.
And those things will give you the tools to handle all of life, and then find things that help you calm down. So for me, coffee and cigars. Love them. I love coffee.
Wait, coffee helps you calm down?
It's peace.
Okay.
Like
peace. I get that. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I understand that.
It's a ritual. I get up and I grind my bean and I make my coffee and I make it a certain way, and then I sit and I either read a book or I listen to an audio or I do. It's a ritual of a thing that brings me peace, that calms my nervous system, that brings up my energy that day.
Yeah.
Right. Meditating is another great one, but do it the way you talked about. Oh, that was on my podcast.
Oh,
talking about. Sorry,
you got to listen to that one.
Got to listen to that one. Just find a sound and listen to it and just focus on it. And the second you can't focus anymore, move on to something else. That's the short of that. Cigars are peace for me.
Yeah.
Like being around guys at a cigar lounge, smoking a cigar, relaxing, not doing work. This it up levels my vibration. It keeps me calm. The gym really helps me feel a lot of swagger in my life. Like, so I walk around and I feel tight and strong and powerful and protective and like all of the things, right? Yeah. For your husband, it might be hunting, right? The peace of going into the woods, like that is uplifting his vibrational frequency. As a mom, if you got kids running it, go to the grandparents' house, send your husband to a hotel for the night and be alone in your home for 12 hours.
Yeah. Oh, that's the best.
Increases the vibrational frequency. It's simple. What are the things that you love, that bring you joy, that make you smile, that jazz you up? Do more of those. Yeah,
that's so true, because I think people are like, oh, well, I don't like to meditate. Then or don't. Like I looked at you like, oh, coffee? Like, because I don't drink coffee, but like, it doesn't matter what I like. It matters. You really have to, again, don't let someone else tell you, or an app or a social media page, what you need to do to relax. Correct. Or what you need to do to tune in. Correct. Right? You need to listen to yourself, tap in. And if you don't know, spend some time figuring it out. Right?
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Because then you get to try a whole bunch of new shit.
Yeah. It's like a whole journey, you know, like.
So the opportunity is that you get to try new things.
Yeah. It's amazing. Opportunity. I get to do that.
It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And
so
then you
good.
Find the things that calm you down and make you feel amazing. And when I say calm you down, it's actually uplifting your vibrational energy, and boom, life takes off.
Yeah. So, what are some, let's see. Okay. So we talked books. Is there like a quote? Is there a piece of advice, something your life coach taught you that you were like, yes, this is really great advice? I mean, you see,
probably a lot, but there's a quote that stuck out to me that I wrote on my mirror when all of this happened. I don't know who said it. I don't know where it came from. Don't even know where I found it. But the quote was, "This time it's personal. This time it's for me." And I was like, oh, that's fucking, there we go.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I was like, okay, what if I start making decisions from this standpoint?
Yeah.
You know? And another one that I think was awesome is, I don't have to explain or justify myself to fucking anybody.
Yeah.
Nope. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I don't have to do it. And I don't have to tell you why if I don't want to.
Yeah.
Nope. It's my decision.
God, I struggle with that so hard. I'm getting a little better because I'm trying. I'm like consciously trying to say, I don't have to give, I'm a people pleaser, I think by nature, but I don't have to give an excuse why I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do it.
Just don't want to do it. You know,
there's some people that stand so strong in that. And I'm like, always so like, oh, I want to take a page out of their book and I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to do that. I'm doing that.
It's good. And again, there's give or take. I still explain everything to my daughter. She's 6. That's different. Like there's give and takes to those things, but not owing anyone an explanation was definitely a big, like, whoa, you're right. I don't owe anybody an explanation.
Powerful.
That, and then I think the other thing is just because somebody is family or birthed you or not even birthed you, gave the seed to birth you, or you don't have to like them. You don't have to have them in your life. And family can be whatever family is.
Yeah.
My daughter's godmother, Bree, is one of my best friends. She is my ride or die. We thought about getting ride or die tattoos together.
Love it.
You know, like, I mean, there's people in my life that are family that I don't communicate with.
Yeah.
And everybody's kind of like, oh, that's sad. But why?
Yeah.
What is the opportunity here? The opportunity is I get to make anybody and everybody in the world part of my family that are on the trajectory I'm on. Mm-hmm. Not this is how things have always been done and you need to stay here and do it this way. I don't want that.
Yeah.
You can come with me. We can go up together, but I don't want that life.
It's all what you make it. It's really everything. Everything is all what you make it.
You owe nobody anything, especially your family.
Yeah.
And if the family makes you feel that way, take a hard look at that.
Yeah.
Because I would never make Sloan feel like she owed me anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Such a good dad. I want everyone to listen to It's Dad Time. It's such a good podcast. You talk all about parenting, being a dad. You're like full on 100% dad. I love that. I love that. So great. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
So much fun, Rocco.
Yes.
And you're the first man on the Cinnamon Effect.
I love it.
So if you guys liked this podcast, please rate it, review it, share it with someone you love, and we'll see you next time on the Cinnamon Effect.
And reach out to me anytime you want on It's Dad Time on Instagram.
Perfect. Love it.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.